Well, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending upon where you are in the world today, and welcome to today's DevOps.com webinar. I'm Charlene O'Hanlon, moderator for the event, and I welcome you. As always, we have a great webinar on tap today, but before we get started, we do have a few housekeeping items we need to go over. First of all, today's event is being recorded, so if you miss any or all of the event, you will have the opportunity to listen to it on demand. We will be sending out an email later on after the webinar that will contain a link for you to access the webinar on demand. And we are taking questions from the audience. So if at any time during today's presentation you have a question, please don't wait, don't hesitate, just use your GoToWebinar control panel and submit your questions. And we'll take a few minutes near the end of today's presentation and go through those questions. Okay, with that, we'll go ahead and kick off today's webinar, which is AI for IT operations and service management. And our speaker today is Raji Srinivasan, who's product manager and evangelist at Zoho. Raji, thanks for joining me today.
Hi, thank you, Charlene.
Okay. I'll go ahead and put myself on mute and let you get right into your presentation.
Yeah, thank you. Good morning. The topic for this webinar is AI for IT operations and service management. As the word says, AI is artificial intelligence. So it is artificial intelligence, meaning it cannot do things by itself. So it is a technique or a system which is programmed by humans behind. So the system or the technique by itself isn't powerful, but it is only as powerful as how it is programmed to do by the human. So just sink in this because that's going to be the key takeaway for this session. The topics that will be discussed are what is digital transformation and what is DevOps and how do I define the DevOps, the role of DevOps, the AI, ML and DL techniques and how they could help DevOps, and the AIOps that can be used for decision making or corrective actions, customer delight, conversational chatbots, how AI can be used for all these fields, and some future prediction of what I think AI is going towards. So I'll just quickly spend some 5 minutes on each of these topics and then take some questions. So stay tuned. So we have been hearing this word a lot, the digital transformation or digitalization or cloud transformation, call it in different forms. When did it all start? So I attribute all this to the Web 2.0 movement. So anybody aware of what Web 2.0 movement is? So it started somewhere way back in 2004, 2005, where all along that time frame, the web was only considered as a medium of consuming content, where you can sit back and watch videos, you can sit back and read news articles, you can sit and see photographs available on the web. But with Web 2.0 movement, the web was not just considered as a medium of consuming content, but also as a medium of contributing content, where people started writing their own blogs and uploading it. People started taking photos and uploading, taking videos and uploading. So the web was considered as a medium of contributing content as well. And that is when, because the content are all available online, people have to work in collaboration. And that is when this cloud itself started picking up. And from then on, it is riding a wave and it is touching all the fields around us. So be it any field you take for us around, it could be retail or it could be shopping, could be a e-commerce, could be some ticket booking, manufacturing, education, automobile industry, IT industry, any field you take, the digital transformation has transformed the way we look at things and we work. Some examples are, see, these are very straightforward examples. So we used to do taxi booking, standing in a line, waiting for the taxi. From that, we have transformed to just booking it through an app, Uber or whatever app we need. Similarly, we used to go to theaters to watch movies. Now Netflix, you just sit at your home from your own device at your own convenient time, you start watching movies. And hotel booking has also transformed to Airbnb. So in today's digital world, all that you need is a high-speed internet connection and a mobile phone. The whole world is in your hand. So that is how the whole digital transformation is taking us towards. And this has touched even the IT industry. So let me quickly tell you how it has changed the infrastructures and platform that we use. So this is how a typical client-server architecture used to be before digital transformation. So we used to have a web server and an application server or a database server in one corner of our office on-premise, which we call as the backend servers. And the applications are accessed through the front-end components is either the laptop or the desktop. That's how people accessed your applications through internet. So this is how the client server architecture was. But today, due to the digital transformation, this whole thing has changed into what you see now. The client server architecture today looks something like this. Be it your infrastructure components from your network to your compute engine, to your platform components, your queues, your database servers, to your applications where you collaborate, communicate, and the content, the monitoring tools, all of this are now available on the cloud as a service. And you can use any of the clients, be it your desktop, laptop, your tablets or mobile phone to access them. So this is how it has transformed. So gone are the days where one has to worry about first purchasing their hardwares. So if I have to start writing an application, I'll have to first think about what are the hardwares that I need, be it for your web servers, for your application servers, for your database. So first thing that comes to anybody's mind is how do I get all these infrastructures? And then you have to worry about your application. That is gone. Now all of these components are available as service, and all that you have to do is just make use of those service and concentrate only on your business logic and on your application and take your business to the next level. That's how the whole thing has changed. So having said all these things, let's quickly look into what are the various layers in any cloud architecture. So in any, if you have to do an application or if you have to monitor an application in cloud, what are the various layers? So typically there are 4 different layers in a cloud architecture. The topmost is called as the end user layer, where your clients reside, be it your browser or your mobile apps or your tablets. That's called the end user layer. Below that is your application layer, where actually your business logic is hosted. So that's what is called as software as a service, SaaS layer. And below that is your platform layer, which is called as platform as a service. All these services are available in platform as a service. There are vendors who provide these components, the caching servers, the NoSQL databases, the queuing servers, the microservices, all this come under the platform layer. And the bottommost is your infrastructure layer, which covers your servers, be it your physical server or your virtual server, your cloud servers or your load balancers, your firewall, your network. All of this comes in the infrastructure layer. So typically any cloud architecture, so these are the different layers that one has to worry about or one has to think through. So with this, I'll come back to this slide later why I'm saying all these things. So this being the structure for any application development in cloud. So let me quickly take you through what is DevOps. So we used to have the different roles, the developer as one role and operator as another role. So what do they do? So developer, this is how I visualize a developer as. So the developer takes care of writing code, testing if the code is working fine, and then building it, packaging it, and take care of any performance issues, looking into to improve the performance, end user analytics. So these are some things the developer does, package it as a build, give it to the operator. So with that, their role will be over. And there is another person or another role, which is the operator role, who takes care of actually deploying the application that has been given to them, and then operating based on it, monitoring it, look for any performance issues, make sure they keep the uptime and SLAs in order, make sure they look into end user complaints and fix problems. They look into the analytics to see if they can focus on some troubleshooting. So all these were the roles of operator. So now today we hear this DevOps a lot because you cannot differentiate between these two roles. These two roles are combined and put together as what I call as DevOps. A person who must be able to do both developer as well as the operator role. They must be able to have some knowledge of what is happening in the code, some knowledge of what is happening in operations. They must be able to have a complete picture of the various layers that I talked about, because that is when he or she can fix problems quickly and take the product to the market. But the DevOps person is not a superhero to do all these things. They can't sit in front of a monitor 24/7 monitoring whether everything is up and running, working fine. So when you put these two together, this is how I visualize it. The DevOps person has to have a complete knowledge of what is happening in all the layers of your application architecture for them to take any action. So how do they do this? They should be able to make use of or get the help of monitoring tools. There are a lot of monitoring tools available in the market to monitor all these layers, be it your end user layer, your end user experience, or your application layer, where you have to monitor your application to find out if there are any code level issues, or you have to look into your logs to find out if there are any problems, your platform layer to find out the performance of all your platform components, or your infrastructure layer where you have to make sure that all your infrastructures are up and running. So the DevOps person has to depend on monitoring tool to make sure that all these components are up and running, because otherwise it is not possible for them to make sure these are working. So this one slide is actually very important, where I see it as DevOps has to have a control of all these layers. So that's where the monitoring tools helps. Now today, if you take, there are a lot of monitoring tools available in the market, and this AI is coming into all of this. People have started using AI techniques in all these tools as well. So now let me get into what is AI, what is ML, what is DL. So just to give you an introduction of what is DevOps and how and what are the layers in the different cloud architecture, I just covered those points. Now let's get deep into how AI can help or what AI does. So as per the definition, AI is nothing but artificial intelligence is any technique which enables computers to mimic human behavior. So this is what I told you in the very beginning. It is only as good or as bad as what the human is doing behind it. So if the human is going to feed the system with garbage information, you're only going to get garbage out. Garbage in, it's going to be only garbage out. So it is very important to feed the system or with deep proper information for the engine to make useful analysis out of it. So that's AI. And machine learning is a subset of AI techniques where they use, because it deals with huge amount of data, you have to apply some statistical methods so that it can enable machines to improve with experience. And deep learning is even more a subset of machine learning, where you actually feed the system with a multi-layer neural network capabilities, so it can make finite or it can make deeper and accurate predictions. So this is a definition of what AI, ML, and machine learning and deep learning is. So as an example, if you see, this is machine learning. If you have machine learning techniques where you have this features extraction as a classification, and if your input is an animal, so the features will be like it has 2 ears, 2 eyes, 4 legs, and tail, and these could be some features that are there in the classification. Then the machine learning techniques can only help to identify if it is a cat or not a cat. But with deep learning, you will feed the system with even more information, like the color of the eye, the length of the ear, the circumference, head circumference. There are so much more fractal information that are fed to the system. Each and every pixel can be compared, and the deep learning, the engine will be able to give you the exact breed of the animal that is being fed. So that is the difference between the machine learning and deep learning. So what I'm trying to say here is there is something called as the fractal theory. There are a lot of research that are happening around this fractal theory and deep learning, machine learning as well. So again, what it says is it's important for you to feed the engine with more accurate, deep data points so that the system can make precise predictions. So we are only seeing this AI techniques as helping people to proactively identify problems. So any automation or any artificial intelligence or any machine itself has to help humans in making quicker decisions or solving problems quickly, proactive manner, and move forward. So that's how any system is evolving, or any system can be used. So in similar lines, so deep learning is very important, and AI engine is only as powerful as the data that is being fed to the system. So having said this, how can AI and ML help DevOps? So I'll just quickly give some points on how it will be helpful, or how, in what all ways it can help DevOps to make their day-to-day life easier, because we saw a lot of work that they do, from planning to coding to build to test to release, deploy it, do some operation on it, monitor it. So all of these things are being taken care by DevOps. So how can the AI help them? First thing is, it can help by promoting feedbacks, because now the people use a lot of monitoring tools to collect performance data. So what AI can do is it can make some meaningful information or meaningful sense out of the data that are being collected. So the tools are being used to collect a lot of performance data, log files that I told. So there is massive amount of data that is available. So this AI technique can be used to help in promoting feedbacks. So that is one area where it can help. The second thing is enabling communication. So we say DevOps itself is actually fail fast, so quickly move on. So every stage you take care of giving feedbacks. So, and you need to communicate that with each other stage as well. So chatbots is something that is coming up, which can help in meaningful communications and making meaningful conversations to get some meaning out of the huge pile of data that is available with us. So it can help in enabling communications. The other area is managing a flurry of alerts. As I said, it's fail fast, so you get a lot of alerts. So AI can be used for categorizing the alerts. Something like if they are coming from the same source, it can be grouped into one. And if the alerts are coming with the same severity, it can be grouped into one. And based on the previous data, it can be assigned to a particular technician as well. And it can also help in detecting spams. So these are some mails that are not needed. These are some alerts that are not important. So AI can be used in managing a flurry of alerts. And AI techniques can also be used in data correlation across tools. As I said, various tools are being used to monitor the different layers in the cloud architecture. Now there is data from different tools in different formats. So now you need to have a correlation across these data and see a unified view. So AI can help in doing that. AI also can help in evaluating past performance. Something like if it is a shopping portal or a shopping app, AI can say this is a peak season. So if it is some holiday season, there will be huge number of people who are coming to the system to purchase it. So AI can help in that those data are available from the system. So AI can read those past performance and help the DevOps to say that you need to add more server now because the load is going to be high during the Christmas sale or during the New Year sale. So evaluate the past performance and give some predictions can be done using AI techniques. Correlating test results. So we do a lot of tests, or the developers do a lot of tests. They do unit testing, functional testing, or regression testing, black box testing. the whole life cycle, we do a lot of testing to make sure that the application or the software is working fine. So there are a lot of test results available, so which is again huge amount of data. AI can be used in those test results to correlate them and get some meaningful data out of it, so we know the pattern, that if there is any change, how it was behaving earlier, and now the test results, is it working fine? It can help in automating the tests, so it can help in that. The next one is fine-tuning deployment strategies. Now, as I said earlier, now there are a lot of deployment strategies that are available. Some of them are always deployed. The software is deployed only in the private environment. Some of them have their deployment in the public cloud. Some of them have it a hybrid. Part of it is private, part of it is in the public cloud, and some of them have it in a virtual environment, or there is a huge different types of deployment strategies that we have. We do have it as a testing environment, a staging environment, and then the production environment. So you may have to do some fine-tuning work in all these deployment strategies, maybe some configuration changes in one which has to be carried forward to all the places. So all these fine-tuning can be done using AI, or AI can help in fine-tuning your deployment strategies. And finally, as I was saying earlier, it has to be trained with a lot of data so that we don't give any false alert. This is very important. So AI can help in self-training itself so that it can prevent false alerts. So these are some areas where AI and ML could help DevOps people to in their day-to-day lives and make it easier for them in their day-to-day activities. Now, I'll quickly go through some Site24x7 AIOps use cases, which not just Site24x7, any monitoring tool can use for helping the DevOps person in their work. So first is, as I said earlier, this is the DevOps cycle. So we have a planning, coding, build, and test, which is the development. Release, deploy, operate, and monitor is the operation. And this monitoring is what is taken care by Site24x7. So Site24x7 as a product plays a role in monitoring your complete entire full stack from your end user layer to your infrastructure layer, the various layers that we talked about. So how do we do, or what all do we have? AI can be used for some decision makings. So let's quickly see some example of what decision making it can help. So it's an use case where IT operators has to make some decision if something goes wrong. So you get an alert saying that your application is down. So what does an IT operator do? He has to make a decision, or he has to find out the root cause. He or she has to find out the root cause as to why it has failed. So for an IT operator, for a human being to make decisions, there are a lot of parameters on which the person operates. Some of the parameters are, first is the application code. So they have to look into if there is any problem in the code, if there is any exception in the logic that has been written in the code. So the application code is one of the parameters they have to look into. And server parameters. It could be that the code is working fine, but the server's configuration will be very low in such a way that the CPU is always high, or the memory is full, the disk is full, the memory is high, or the disk is full. There are various parameters with respect to server. So they have to check into the server parameters. And if it is a virtual environment, he or she has to check into the virtual machines metrics as well. And network data. What are the bytes in, bytes out that are coming? What are the interfaces that are available? Are all the ports connected in the network working fine? Those are some metrics that has to be taken into consideration. User access details. As I said, is there a pattern of users that are accessing? Meaning, is it some high peak holiday season where there are huge number of users who are accessing it? So the system has gone down. So the user access details also plays a role in decision making. And application logs. So he has to look into the application logs to see if there are any exceptions there. Cloud configurations. If the application is deployed in the cloud, is the configurations fine? Or all the auto scale, if it is an AWS environment, is the auto scaling configured correctly? Is the mapping between your EC2 instances and your EBS volume done correctly? So there are a lot of cloud configurations that has to be checked. and event logs, anything to do with the system. Is there some event that has happened which has caused the downtime? Geographic data. Why I'm saying geography data is important is sometimes the application will not be accessible only from a particular region. It's working fine in US, it's not working fine in Europe. The application could be even within the US. Application could be working fine from certain certain states. Maybe in the West it's working fine, in the East it's not working fine. Could be various things. So geographical data plays an important role. So we need to, or the operator needs to know which geography it is failing. And internet facing configuration is the ISP plays a major role. So if something goes down, he or she has to see if a particular ISP is a problem, because all the other factors will be working fine, but the problem is with the particular ISP. You change the ISP, it will work fine. So they have to find if there are any internet facing configurations. So what I'm saying here is these are some 10 different parameters I chose, but actually there are a lot more. So for a human being as an IT operator to make a decision, he or she depends on so many various parameters to do. Then you can think, how can AI do a decision making by itself? Because AI is only an engine. So the monitoring tool has to take care of giving all the metrics, all these various parameters, values has to be given by the monitoring tool. Only if the monitoring tool is able to give you the metrics of all these parameters, the single tool, it can't be from different tools. A single monitoring tool has to give the information of all these parameters. Then the AI engine will be able to learn from these actions and make decisions appropriately. So if it is a human has to depend on so many parameters, only if the tool gives you all these values, the AI can help in decision making. Site24x7 AIOps can provide all these information because it's an all-in-one monitoring tool. We do provide smart operational insights. We do give predictive analysis. We do give contextual knowledge from all the layers in the stack. That's what the various parameters that I talked about. And it can also automatically adjust the threshold configurations without any human intervention. So thus, by doing all these things, the AI engine will be able to learn all these things, and it can help in precise decision making. That's the use case for Site24x7 decision making. Moving on, okay, these are some screenshots from the product. Here you can see that the response time has surged to 5,500 milliseconds in a particular region, Dallas. This is actually 3 times increase from what it used to be normally 1.8 seconds, which is 1,818 milliseconds. So this is actually automatic anomaly detection. It's not that the user has configured something. So when the product sees that there is a 3 times increase from what it used to be normally in the baseline, there is an anomaly detected and there is an alert that is triggered, and you will be able to see these information in a anomaly trend graph as well. And this is another example where the server's used swap memory has surged to 847 MB, and this is 4.2 times increase from what it used to be in the baseline. So this is again to say it's not just your end user's response time, it's the infrastructure layer server information. So for all your layers, we do have anomaly detections. The AI engine learns that and automatically tells you where the problem is for you to take any decision. Moving on to the next use case, AI for corrective actions. How can AI help in making some corrections in your system? Let's again look at an example of an IT operator. He faces a problem of server performance is very slow. So what could be the reason? Why is the server performance very slow? When they use the tool to find out the reason for it, it is seen that the disk usage is very high. So when you see that the disk usage is very high, what is the RCA? Why it is high? Why is the disk usage high? You end up seeing that huge log files have piled up, causing the disk usage to be filled. So now what you have to do? You have to log into the system, delete the log files, restart the system. Your server performance will be perfectly fine, correct? Now, there is a difference between a person taking a remote control of the system, logging into the system, deleting the files and restarting, from if they are able to do those things from a web console. So the corrective action is the monitoring tool must have the capability of telnet to the remote system from the web console, not directly logging into the system, because the AI engine only learns from the whatever is being done in the system. So from the web console, there must be provision to log into the remote system, clear the logs. Then the AI engine will learn that as a command, and it will be able to do that in future. See, remember today, even though we say this AI has come, it is taking up, there are a lot of things that it's doing. Nobody has the courage. Can I say it is courage? No, we don't want to take the risk of allowing any automation of restarting or cleaning the logs in a productive environment to any automatic engine, right? We don't want to take that risk. There is always human involved there, because it's a production system. It has customers' live data. You want to double check or make sure that we are doing only correct things, and then only it can come. So AI can't go and do these things today, but that is how it is going to be done in the future. So that's what I'm saying. If you are able to feed in the system with correct information, first of all, the tool has to have the provision to do all these things from the console so that the AI can learn from them. Then the server performance is back to normal. So the futuristic direction is, we don't have this today in Site24x7, but this is what we plan to do. This is what the futuristic direction of Site24x7 AI story is. So Site24x7 AI engine can learn these user actions, train the AI system with relevant data, take corrective action automatically. The corrective action is logging into the system and deleting the logs. So only if we have the confidence that it does 100% correct, not even 99.9%, it has to be 100% correct, then only we can make sure, we can be sure that the engine is doing correctly, even before alerting the operator in the middle of the night. Today what Site24x7 does is, when there is some problem, it can alert you wherever you are, whatever time, whatever mode of alerting is needed. But corrective action humans have to do. Going forward, that's the futuristic direction. We do have plans to do some corrective actions automatically. So this is the use case for corrective action. Now, AI for customer delight. How AI can be used for customer delight? Customer delight is nothing but how do you make sure that your customers are happy? So Site24x7 can send its alerts to any ticketing system. So the ticketing system should take care of, that's what the service management is. So in customer support help desk applications, as I said earlier, AI can help in automatic incident categorization as L1 issues, L2 issues based on severity, and based on how the agents have been assigned already. It can also help in automatic assigning of agents, and any anomalies can be detected by flagging repeated incidents. Those are spams or some repeated incidents are happening. It can flag it automatically. And also what it can do is predictive analysis to flag the request that violates SLA. So these are some things that the AI engine could do in the support portal, so that you can have a quick return on your tickets. See, ideally when a customer complains, all of us want to resolve it quickly and give them some solution. So if the AI engine can help in these first level categorizations and assigning agents and flagging, it takes the time to return to the solving the problems shorter. So thus making the customers happy. So these are some things that AI can do for IT service management. And AI for conversational chatbots. So Site24x7 AI engine can integrate with any chat application, and it can provide meaningful conversational insight using chatbots. So it can actually integrate with any chat. We have integrated, for example, with Microsoft Teams. So what we can do in what Site24x7 and Microsoft Teams does. So in Teams portal, you can actually ask any questions. Any outage yesterday, when you ask such a question, it will give you the chatbot will reply saying that yesterday this system went down during the start time of outage, end time of outage, on how long the outage happened, reason for outage. So all this information will be fetched and it will be displayed in your Teams portal itself. And some other question that you can ask are availability of any missions or any monitors last month. So last month, what was the total uptime, what was the total downtime, is there any suspend time, is there any schedule maintenance that was configured. All that information, the monitor's availability summary will be fetched. And some other questions like get me the status of all the monitors. So it can tell you how many monitors were down, how many monitors were up, how many were in trouble state. So it will fetch you all the information. And any down monitor particularly can it can give you the list of down monitors. What is the type of the monitor, what is the monitor name, all the information can be fetched. So these are some sample questions or sample chat conversations. Actually, there is a full list of help documentation with the questions and the integration with Microsoft Teams. So you can make some meaningful questions because it's very cool. You are working with one system. You don't have to go to another system or another portal to see all these information. You just have to, whatever chat box you are working with, you just have to ask the questions, make the integration happen and ask questions and get the information in your chat portal itself. So this is again yet another application of AI in enabling communication by means of chatbots. So this is one thing that we have done already. So to summarize, actually with respect to what Site24x7 AIOps does, actually we do AIOps can help in decision making, AI can help in corrective actions, AI can help in customer delight, and AI can help in conversation. AI can integrate with conversational chatbot as well. So these are some of the applications or some of the areas of AI where it can make life of DevOps easier. So what is the future of AI or machine learning? So these are some things which from what I learned or from what I inferred, I've just given some points. There could be actually many more, but there is always this question of will this machine learning, machine learning is applied in many fields and many applications. And there is always this question of, will it take away my job? How is it going to affect my job? So that question is there in all the fields with many people as well. There is this site called as willrobottakemyjob.com is a real site where people have said what are the different fields and what are the different job categories and what percentage of it will be taken away in the future by AI ML. Just maybe you can check it out and see. But there are researchers or there are reports, even Gartner reports, which says by 2020 or 2025, I forgot the year, there is going to be more number of jobs because of this AI ML techniques rather than the jobs it is going to be taken away. So AI and ML techniques are only going to create more jobs than the jobs it's going to take away. So it's just only it's with any new technology that comes up, there is always this fear. So is it going to affect me, or is it going to affect this industry? Is it going to affect this field? But AI or ML is not intelligent by itself. There are human brains needed behind it. So it is only going to create more jobs in the future. And machine learning as a service is picking up. I said earlier, or we saw earlier, we have this software as a service, platform as a service, infrastructure as a service are all available. Similarly, on similar lines, machine learning as a service, MLAAS, is another field that is picking up, where users will be able to give the huge amount of data that they have. And because actually today the algorithms that are being used to do all this analysis in this AI engine and training it is the toughest part. Data, every tool creates, or we have huge data. How do you make sense out of this data is the toughest one. What algorithms to use and how to make meaningful insight out of the big data that is available. So machine learning as a service will help in you can feed the system with the data that you have from different tools, and the service will be able to make meaningful information out of it. That is one futuristic direction. And there are more and more intelligent applications using NLPs, face recognition, speech recognition, vision recognition. So more intelligent applications are coming up. And this is again important, continuous training and more meaningful insight, continuous training or retraining. more like self-training. So once you feed the system or once you train the system based on the actions that are being taken, based on the the system itself will be able to read the pattern of information and retrain itself. That's improving. It's able to give better or correct, accurate, meaningful insight. And one other important thing is usage of GPUs, the graphic processing unit, and FPGA for better hardware performance. Because see, how much ever you try or how much ever you do, you can't do all the performance optimizations in your software. After a point in time, you cannot do it in the software or the application. So people are trying to use, or people are trying to do some performance improvement at the hardware level using this GPUs and FPGAs. Because now, so this is again another important industry or important things that are happening in this digital transformation world, where people have started using GPUs and FPGAs and see how they can optimize or how they can look out for better performance at the hardware level itself. So that is another area, that is another field that is again picking up. So these are some of the futuristic directions that I see for AI or ML. And as I said, it's only going to create more jobs, and it's only going to make our lives even more easier in the future. Not just DevOps or any field, it's only going to make it even more easier. So a quick recap. So this is one important slide. So the various DevOps person has to have a complete picture of what is happening in all the layers of all the different layers of the cloud architecture. Only then they will be able to make meaningful decisions and move forward. So this is one important slide. So in that angle, Site24x7 is an all-in-one AI-powered monitoring platform that will let you take care of all your monitoring needs from one single console. So be it your website monitoring or web application monitoring or your server monitoring, it could be your physical server, virtual server, or your cloud servers. Your cloud monitoring, it could be AWS cloud or your Azure cloud. We have monitoring for all of them. Your network components, be it your router, switch, firewall, all network components are monitored. Application performance troubleshooting for your Java, .NET, Ruby on Rails, PHP, and Node.js applications, where it can pinpoint to the line of code that is causing the problem, to the SQL query that is causing the problem. So it helps developers. And the real user monitoring that takes care of monitoring your application from across the geography, how it is being used. So what is the ISP that is being used, which is causing trouble. So that's the real-time user monitoring. And your application logs. Application log monitoring is nothing but your unstructured log data is converted into a structured data, and you will be able to make some meaningful insight out of it. So this is a complete all-in-one monitoring tool. We have AI powered in all the layers. Wherever possible, we try to apply this anomaly detection and get it, apply anomaly detection and give you more meaningful reports and alerts. So to quickly go through, so we talked about different layers, the end user layer, or for end user layer, we have the availability monitoring, web page speed monitoring, and real user monitoring. For your application layer, we have APM Insight and application log management. And for the platform layers, we have plugin monitoring, which is we have 100+ plugins out of the box written that can be used to monitor any of your platform components. And infrastructure layer, we have server monitoring, AWS monitoring, Azure monitoring, your virtual servers, your Docker containers. So it's a complete all-in-one monitoring solution. So you need not one need not go for monitoring using multiple tools to monitor all these layers. Just use one full monitoring tool that will only help, or that can only help your AI to learn all those techniques. Because once you start using different tools, the AI engine cannot be able to learn from different tools in a stretch. So only if you use one single tool, AI can help in getting better results. So not just Site24x7, you can use any monitoring tool, but try to use single monitoring tool for all your layers. There are multiple vendors available in the market. I'm just giving one example as Site24x7. Depending on your monitoring needs, your business requirements, you can choose what you want to use. So the key takeaways from this session would be DevOps and the monitoring needs. So the DevOps have to depend on monitoring tools to monitor all the layers, and how AI could help DevOps in their day-to-day activities by promoting feedbacks and by communications. And Site24x7 AIOps is a powerful, agile, cost-effective monitoring tool. We do have actually a 30-day free trial where you can actually try the product for yourself. So need not purchase it and do. You can try it for yourself and then see if you want, you can purchase it. So those are the key takeaways for this session. And before I complete, I just have 2 quick slides. So this is always my favorite quote. We shape our tools and they in turn shape us, is a quote by Marshall McLuhan. So what this means is the tools that we have in our hands play an important role in our day-to-day activities, because if you have a hammer in your hand, everything looks like a nail. Even if it is a screwdriver, you will end up only hitting it because you only have a hammer in your hand. So it is important for every person to choose the right set of tools that are needed for their monitoring needs. So based on your monitoring need, based on your business logic, or based on your applications need, choose the right set of tools so you'll be able to take your business to the next level. Thank you. And I'm open for questions now.
Okay, great. We've gotten a couple questions in, but we do have time. If you have a question for Raji, please go ahead and use your GoToWebinar control panel and submit your questions. Our first question here is, are ML models available as a PaaS offering in cloud providers like AWS and Azure?
Machine learning as a service is a new service that is picking up, just like, as I said, like any other PaaS or SaaS. AWS and Azure, I know for sure AWS is working towards it. I'm not very sure about Azure, but AWS is working towards getting ML service. I'm not correctly sure if it is already available, but ML as a service is picking up.
Okay, great. The next question, is it possible to correlate different events, such as in that case of the log full causing performance problem, to additionally investigate why the log is filling up and detect an incorrect app logging configuration like verbose mode?
Okay, I'll take a minute to read that question again.
Yeah, it's a long one, yeah.
Yeah, I understand. So I wanted to understand it correctly. Is it possible to correlate different events, such as in that case of log full causing performance problem, right? To additionally investigate why the log is filling up and detect an incorrect app logging configuration. Yeah, so that was an use case that I actually described to say how corrective actions can be taken. So if you are monitoring your servers and the logs in that servers using a tool, it can be any tool. So once you monitor that, the monitoring tool will have the capability to read all those information and put it in a console for you to figure out what the actual problem is. So it purely depends on the monitoring tool, and you need to have a monitoring tool to monitor both your logs as well as your server metrics, so you can make a correlated decision out of it. It is possible to do that, but you should have the proper tools for it.
Okay, great. The next question here is kind of telegraphic, so I'll just read it as it is, and hopefully you get the gist of it. Seeing that site monitors are also done Tamil Rocker's website and embedded in Microsoft Teams, practical use case?
Seeing that site monitors are also done Tamil Rocker's website and embedded in Microsoft Teams. I don't think I understood this correctly, but from what I understand, I showed you an example of Microsoft Teams integration with Site24x7. So Site24x7 is a monitoring tool that does monitor for availability and performance monitoring of any of your application. So if you are monitoring your application's performance, Then you can integrate that with Teams and get some questions there. The questions are also predefined by the tool, meaning if Site24x7 and Microsoft Teams integration is what you're looking for, then the questions or the chatbot questions will be more like, is this monitor down, or get me all the list of monitors that are down. So those are questions. It's nothing but how does it happen in the backend? It will only convert to, the questions are converted into the APIs, related API, REST API. The REST API call will be made from Teams to our server, get all the information, and the information is displayed there. That is how the backend mechanism works. So if the tool has, at least the Site24x7 does monitoring of availability and performance. So in that angle, I don't understand this Tamil Rockers website. If you are monitoring the Tamil Rockers website, I will only monitor the availability and performance of that website. It is like any other website for me. It doesn't matter if it is a movie website or any actual work website. It can be any website for that matter. It could be a shopping website, it could be a movie website, it could be your educational website, it could be some manufacturing portal website. All that, my concern is a website that is publicly accessible. Then I'll be able to monitor its health meaning availability and performance. So availability and performance information can be integrated with Microsoft Teams, not the content as such.
Okay, all right, great. Let's see, next question. We have some great ones in here. Let's see, do you have a software solution for full stack monitoring?
Yes, Site24x7 is the full stack monitoring solution for monitoring all the stacks. I think this question might have come up in the beginning. At the end, I explained that Site24x7 does monitoring for all the layers. So you can just log into site24x7.com, sign up, and you just have to give your email and sign up. You get a 30-day free trial, and you can try the entire product for free for 30 days, evaluate yourself, see what performance metrics you get, and you also get support during that time. You can write to us if you have some problems. So you can, our support will be able to help you to configure things and set it right, and see for yourself, and then go ahead with the product. Okay. It is a full stack monitoring.
Okay, great. Great. Next question. Does this offer any additional insights in securing DevOps, i.e. DevSecOps?
Okay. Security with DevOps. To be frank, Site24x7, we don't have today for DevOps. Something like we have this, it's in bits and pieces. It's not as a full-blown solution, but this is one thing that we are currently working on, the security angle of any web application. But what we have is, we do have something called as SSL monitoring, where you can actually monitor if the certificate has expired, because all of our websites are mostly HTTPS. So that is a secure website with the certificate configured. So you have to be very sure that your certificates don't expire. So we have a SSL monitor where you can set some limit. If the certificate is going to expire, you'll be notified 45 days in advance. So you can go and procure or re-license the certificate. So SSL certificate monitoring, domain expiry monitoring we have. So all the domains have been purchased once. So it could be purchased for some particular time period. So if suppose that expires, you need to purchase that before it expires. So we give you notification before any domain expires. So we have domain expiry monitoring, and we also have something called as web defacement monitoring. The defacement monitoring is nothing but content. If the content has been changed, if some JavaScript has been injected into your web page, we will be able to notify you. So these are some monitors that can help from a security angle perspective. So those are some things that we have for securing the DevOps.
Okay. All right, great. I think we have time for about 2 more questions here. Do you also provide monitoring for BI products?
It's business intelligence products. So business intelligence products, so I don't exactly understand what that is. So by business intelligence, it is more like reporting. So that's how I understand the question. Maybe if I'm wrong, you can write to me. That's why I have put my email ID as well. So people can write to me. I'll be able to get back with the exact details. So business intelligence, I understand it as you have huge amount of data. Can I go query that data and get some meaningful insight out of it? Online query language is not available, but the data, with the data that we collect, it's not from the external data that is fed to the system. The monitoring data that we collect, we will be able to give all reports, performance reports, availability reports, and we also have something called as custom monitoring or custom metrics, custom data platform where users can plug in or users can import their data in a structured way. So they can define what data they want to import into our system, and then we will be able to give some reports out of it. So those are some things that are available. So I think that's what I understood this question. If anything, please write to me.
Okay, all right, great. Next question. Site24x7 is monitoring cloud only or also hybrid environments?
It is both cloud as well as hybrid environment. We also have, if yours is a private network or if you have a private deployment, we have something called as on-premise Polar, which you have to install in one of your private machines, and that Polar will take care of monitoring all your intranet devices, and the Polar will send the information to our cloud. But this is only cloud offering. It's not a on-premise solution. All the data resides in the cloud. We do take care of all our compliance and security measures to make sure that the data is safe and secure. It's a cloud offering, it's a SaaS offering, but we do have monitoring for both cloud applications and your hybrid environment.
All right, great. Last question, then we're going to have to close this out. What I see is the monitoring solution is entirely based on log analysis. We do have applications that have images. Can you accommodate that? Image analytics.
Image analytics we don't do. But it is not just log analytics. It is the product as such. I haven't gone into the detailed demo of the product at all. So I've just told the high level features and the AI capabilities in each of those features. If I have to get into each of the product features, it's each layer itself is a 1 hour presentation, which anyway we have it as we do free webinars, so you can log into site247.com webinar. All of these layers are available as a complete presentation. It's a free webinar. People can join, take the complete picture of it. But with respect to this, it's not just log analysis. It's all based on the metrics that we collect will vary. So if it is a website, we do collect. It's basically availability and performance monitoring. So for websites, it's for the end user facing monitoring layer, we have 100+ location agents across the globe using which we will be able to collect all the information. For our servers and for our applications, you have to install an agent and that collects all the information. So ours is mainly only to do with performance and availability. Images we don't do.
Okay, great. Well, we're about 2 minutes to the top of the hour, so unfortunately we do have to stop the question and answer period there. If we didn't get to your question, I'm very sorry, but please know that the folks at Zoho will be getting a copy of all of the questions, so I'm sure they'll be more than happy to follow up with you offline.
So I have my email ID as well here, so you feel free to write to me for any doubts. I'll be happy to write back with all the needed information. Excellent. So thank you for your time.
Yeah, great.
Thanks a lot.
Yes, and also quick reminder that today's event has been recorded. So if you missed any or all of the event, or if you just want to listen to it again, you'll have the opportunity to do so. We are going to be sending out an email that contains a link to access the webinar on demand. And the webinar is also going to be living on the DevOps.com website, so you can always find it there. Just go to DevOps.com/webinars, and it should be right there on the on-demand section. Raji, thank you again for a great presentation today, and want to thank the audience for joining me today. This is Charlene O'Hanlon, and I'm signing off. Have a great day, everybody.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks a lot.